Thompson Productions.
Again, I'm not saying he wasn't shot with a 30-06. All I'm telling you is that you say 30-40%. My odds are shot here from that spot. That's going to be a 0.001% chance of that bullet.
How did you calculate
anything other than blowing straight on through?
How did you calculate that figure?
I just made it up in my head, but it's a very tiny number.
I know.
Yeah,
and where did your 30% come from?
Which is my entire
place, buddy. So that's the thing. I don't like the double standards. You have to hold me to standards that you won't hold yourself to. That's just, it's crazy. And worse, you get emotional and you call.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise Crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Again, I'm not saying he wasn't shot with a 30-06. All I'm telling you is that you say 34.
Oh boy, who's manning the show here? It's Tyler Yonke, LPR. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Let's get things going. It's been chaos every day. I'm like, okay, let's start this show. Let's have a nice clean intro. Let's do every and then there's chaos. Chaos, I tell you. Tyler Yonke, LPR. Hey Tyler, miss you, buddy. Yeah, how you doing, Zach? I mean, we actually probably the closest to each other of anybody out there. Evening and Tyler, evening boys. Eddie Grimm in the chat, coming in, people. This is I was going to actually not going to have this show tonight. I scheduled it and then I backed it off. And then my wife, anyway, but we're doing bathrooms. I'm working. I'm trying to be home because the contractors are here. I've got to do somewhere. Then my parents are here with us this week. It's chaos. I'm not getting a lot of work done, but I'm doing this work for you guys. This is relief for me. This is relief for me. So is this song. This is as if 80s music was done, or 90s music was done by 80s, I guess. Okay, LPR, we're in the house. I don't know if you saw the opening clip there. That was our debate that was on with Clint Russell. I'm gonna do this thing here in a little bit, but not quite yet. Actually, I wanted to check this one out. So there's a few little things we're gonna go over tonight, some debates. I'm gonna play some clips from it, and one of those is, let's move this up over here. One of those is Clint Russell. Let's just, maybe I pop to it here. Clint Russell had on Chris Masterson. Is that his name? I think so. Of Peak Prosperity. Chris Martinson, sorry, of Peak Prosperity. He had Justin on of Phoenix Ammunition. They've been going at it and they talked Charlie Kirk shooting stuff. And people have such a hard time understanding nuance. And then there's people that just, I don't know, for some reason just want to push back and argue, which is fine. You know, Magoo's come in here in the chat and push back against those things. I think that's completely fine. This Chris Martinson is different. Okay. It's a little bit talking about the Charlie Kirk shooting and his whole thing. You've got to watch it before you just rip on him because his is very unique. And I loved him with the Butler shooting, COVID stuff. I think what I like about him is he'll take a theory and he'll break it down as to like, well, he at one point he had color coding, but stuff that's plausible, not plausible, and then you can move it back and forth. The more the data comes out, the more you analyze, the more you can have that. So this was one debate. This is another debate. Oren Schroer and this nap time Green Beret guy. This thing was off the rails. It was embarrassing. And this is what made me think of like this. Hey, let's do this debate bro shit here, right? Then you've got Sean, what's his name? Sean Ryan and our buddy, let's see here, Dan Crenshaw. They're going back and forth. We've got Nick Fuentes with men and women. I don't know what his deal is. And then this clip, I haven't seen it, but I'm taken aback. Is she in a booster chair? I don't think she's in a booster chair. Why is he so short? Why is he so short? That's my first question, and we will get to that all coming up. But first of all, let's take a look at your chat here. Who else is coming in? I came to provide business acumen. Okay, thank you, Eric. Definitely not Eric. Phoenix ammo is some of the best ammunition I've used, to be honest. Okay, that's really good. Was wondering how it performed. Need to pick up some. Better than most match grade ammo I've shot. So I just bought a bunch of. Winchester had some really cheap. It was like, what was it, 50 rounds for, or was it 200 rounds for like $11 or something stupid. So I picked up a bunch of. Lot of this is 9mm stuff. This is stuff to go to the range, blow some shit out. I have some nicer stuff here. Actually, it's in my box right. Can you see it here? I have a bunch of ammo in that box right over there. Okay. Anyway, I'm not your high-end level shooter. I could shoot targets. I could shoot them pretty well. Different things. I'm not really proficient in all the lingo. Okay. If we were talking bikes and technical aspects of cycling, I would have y'all beat, but I would know when someone's throwing smoke too. Okay, it's family law, same type of thing. You know, you just kind of, there's little things we're all good at. So this is we're going to talk about this first debate here, and we're going to walk ourselves through it. Stuff you need when passing through Stockton. Yes, exactly. People pump a dog on the white box, but most stuff runs fine. The price is appreciated. Yeah, so I'll have to try some Phoenix ammunition. You know, I don't have a problem with that. But let's take this. If I were to go to trial, okay, in the Charlie Kirk situation, and I needed an expert, okay, I needed an expert in ammunition. Perhaps the Phoenix ammunition guy would be my he's a manufacturer of ammunition. Okay. Certain types of ammunition. Okay. However, the first thing you would be asking him is how many tests have you run? Like to Charlie Kirk specifically, depends on what you want to know. Okay. Maybe ammunition rifling, maybe, pounds, you know, the pressure that it comes out, the speed, all these kind of things. Perhaps those are now. That's his area of expertise, I imagine. Is his area of expertise fragmentation of bullets? Okay, I don't know. What kind of testing has he done in that regard? I don't, just listen to him. It doesn't sound like a lot. So maybe I would want someone who has done a different side of the bullet market, so to speak. Okay, maybe someone who their whole thing is just testing. Okay, I'd voir dire them. I'd talk to them about the number of hours that they've done shooting. What kind of tests have they run? Different, you'd get into all this, you'd do a report and you'd be able to find out. And is this an expert in that field? We see this a lot. And when you watch trials of expertise, okay, now you could be an expert, a doctor. Okay, you're qualified in general medicine. Are you qualified in certain specifics? Are you qualified? We just saw this in Karen Reed. Dog bites. Okay, are you qualified in dog bites? That was a whole issue. So now we're talking about other things. Okay, he may be really good. He being Justin may be very good at knowing about manufacturing ammunition. Does he know a lot about angles? Does he know about physics? These are different things that you would need to know. An engineer, perhaps, a physicist. I have an engineering degree, so some of the stuff that these guys go over, I'm totally down and I get it. Okay, and it's been a long time, but it's kind of like, the whole process of what we used to do in school all the time, right? Free body diagram, you got X, Y, and Z coordinates and shooting and angles and deflections and da-da-da-da. there's all this stuff that would go into it. You would need someone, and we saw this, Karen Reed as well, right? An engineer coming in and talking about the physics of the pounds, force, all this stuff happening, okay, to reconstruct. And then you're going to have maybe a doctor talk about, a pathologist or some of those kind of things. So these are the kind of experts you have. Okay, so we're going to get into this. Let's talk. See, terminal ballistics is one of the most important aspects of making ammunition. Okay, then he would be qualified. Although he does say some things in here that make you kind of wonder. I would assume he spends more time on the manufacturing rather than ballistics. Not that he wouldn't need knowledge of both. Absolutely. So let's get to this first one. I got a few clips here to play. And what my main point of this one, it got really a little bit contentious from Justin's side, and I don't know why. He did, he actually did answer the part. I don't know if I have a clip for this, but basically he says, hey, look, my family, I had a family member that really went down the QAnon path, and so I'm trying to protect from all this stuff. I get it, but it's just like your girlfriend or your spouse, your wife, your boyfriend, whomever. When they give you bad info, that's when the wheels start to turn, and you're like, first of all, there was no need to. Prime example, Charlie Kirk, after the fact, he was the most pro-Israel thing, and people are like, well, I think he was backing off of that, and they were, no, that's not true, and then it comes out that that's a lie. Now you go, oh, you didn't need to lie about that, but now why are you? So now everything's in the open. You know what? I made this comment. You go back in my feed here if you really feel like it. Back in the day of discussing COVID, okay? The biggest problem was shutting down and lying about the little things from the government. When they shut you down, now everything, you start to think everything's a conspiracy. That's the problem we're having, okay? There's such a lack of trust that everything could be a conspiracy, and I get that. But the problem is, then you've got to maybe take into account some stuff like, what is going on? Who are those experts that you can listen to? Okay, so let's talk about this one. Let's start here. Clint has these two guys on, and immediately they're going to, we go to 1.25. They're going to introduce themselves a little bit. Justin of Phoenix Ammunition, his feed is horrible, but anyway, here we go.
Chris's opinion, or why do you have a strong opinion on this, Chris?
Because I'm a big believer in physics, and I'm a big believer in things making sense. And I've gone through an entire lifetime of being lied to about big events in my life. That would include 9/11, Building 7, the magic bullet for JFK, RFK's murder, not RFK Jr., RFK the senior, on and on and on. And so what I really get annoyed about is when I'm being asked to accept basically a magic bullet theory as the most probable thing, and not my first rodeo. Here's the two things I know when I'm getting fed a load. One, it's a really improbable situation. Two, when you question it, you get attacked. Bots, swarms, all kinds of things happen. And so this is how it's felt to me. It's felt, let's just say, not entirely organic. And listen, I'm just here for the physics. I'm a physics guy. I'm a math guy. I'm a scientist kind of guy. So I like things to make sense. And so I'm just trying to make sense.
Yeah, I just got to interject real quick and explain, because I am essentially serving as the moderator tonight. I'm going to try and not talk very much, but I do want to basically put my bias out there. As I think Justin already knows, I lean heavily towards the Martinson Carroll camp. I find it very hard to believe that a 30-06 is what Charlie Kirk was hit with, but I'm totally open to being convinced otherwise. Justin, what makes you so passionate about this topic? And if you want to tell people about your background briefly, feel free.
Yeah, sure. I'll start there. I'm the owner and co-founder of Phoenix Ammunition. I've been in the business of manufacturing small caliber ammo for 10 years. Have fired that ammunition into just about everything, and have talked to people who have fired it into many more things than I personally have. I've got something like 800 or 900 hours of hands-on firearms training experience with every big name firearms training company in the country, Cogworks, Haley Strategic, you name it. Prior to this, I spent 10 years in insurance consulting for aerospace and defense companies. And I also am a physics guy, and I also am a science guy. And that's really what brought me into this conversation. I'll say right off the top, I couldn't really give a shit about TP USA or really anybody else involved in this entire conversation. I have no reason to support one side or the other. But when I see people claiming that things could definitely not have happened, when there's ample evidence that it has happened in many instances throughout the course of history, then it starts to make me wonder why in the same way that Dr. Martinson says, I start to think to myself, what's the motivation behind people to continue to peddle what I feel is a endless conspiracy?
Okay, fine. These are all good. And the more you listen to this, I got frustrated with Justin for a few things. One is his whole thing, he says here, and I don't know that I necessarily have that clip, is we don't have all the data. It's like, yeah, well, we can make assumptions off of the data we do have, because what they're going to have to do when they go to court is do reconstruction. They're going to have to do one process. Okay. Now they may get around it and not have it. You don't always have to have the murder weapon, but they claim they have a murder weapon. So it's going to be interesting. They're going to have to go, this murder weapon is connected to Tyler Robinson. Okay. Now that Tyler Robinson to this weapon, and this weapon has to then match the bullets. Okay. We see it all the time, striations, all this stuff. Okay. You're going to have to be able to pick something. Now, if the bullet is too fragmented to do that, they're going to at least have to say it's the kind of bullet that would be in this gun. Okay. You're going to have to match, or you're going to have some reasonable doubt. Or if you don't even able to do that, and I don't know if that's possible. I'm assuming hopefully it would be able to do that. Then you're going to have to say, oh, well, he was on the roof. He was at this place. Okay, so can that shot from that angle, everything here, make sense? These are the kind of things you're going to need to do. We saw, if you watch Karen Reed, we'll keep talking about that one, because that one was very technical. Celebrite data. They went into a lot of detail. They went into a lot of detail in reconstruction about the car backing into someone. Could it have done this? Broken taillight. A lot of the physics involved in here. Justin says, I like physics too. Well, what's that mean? You like Star Wars? You like Star Trek? Do you have a physics degree? You don't have to have a physics degree, but it's not like, you can make yourself competent in other things. How well do you understand some of the physics involved here? Because I think that's very important. And then my other problem with Justin is, one, he says we don't have enough data, but then he goes out and pushes a lot of data. Okay, that doesn't make sense. And we saw that in the clip here, and we're going to get to that one again as well. But he makes assumptions of things about people that are just downright wrong. One thing he says, he closes at the end. I don't know if we're going to play this. I keep saying that because I have some clip stuff, but I don't know if I'll get time to do it. He mentions that, to discredit Ian Carroll as an example, he says Ian Carroll now believes in, Charlie was electrocuted. Well, I saw that post on Twitter, and Ian Carroll had a thumbnail, and it's like, something about him being executed. But it's a little clickbaity, because if you go and watch it, he doesn't believe he was executed. So there was actually, Justin said that, made fun of him for that. He says, if you watch the video, that's not what it is. And then if you did watch the video, you'd know it's not what it is. I did watch it last night to make sure. But then you're going to say he believes he was executed. You've got to get your, and so if you're going to be I'm pushing back. If you don't have facts, then facts and feelings don't work. We're only going on facts. We're not going to do any theories. We're only going to do facts. Well, then, let's not fuck your facts up. Okay. I'm going to jump ahead, because this is the kind of stuff that I for some of it, I'm trying to not defend here, but trying to show some of the things that frustrated me with the Justin side. Okay. This is talking about, so Chris Martenson also did some testing, and you can't just go out and fire into someone's neck. Okay. By the way, he says it didn't go into the middle of the neck. There's a, by the way, go into the neck, it went into the side, and I guess you see this from this, like the side, and you can see that on the film. And so since it's there's not bone to break, he does a breakdown of this. And his thing, if you listen to him, it's not that a 30-06 couldn't have happened. He doesn't think it could have happened from that vantage point. Okay. Change the trajectory, change some other things, maybe distance out. Those things matter. Those things are, you change those around. He thinks then a 30-06 happens, but not from the place. And then there's pushback from Justin about like, well, you didn't even know where it was shot. And he's like, well, actually, you can, the Losi building where it's all at, we know the plans. So we know the distance exactly. There's tabs up there. You can see yellow markers. We can actually get an almost exact approximation from what we have seen and what has been put out to do a reconstruction of this. But anyway, let's play this. This is about pork roast, because he went and shot, and you can't shoot into a neck, so you can have to shoot into something similar. And here you go.
Into this conversation because I wanted to go after you and Ian Carroll. I was talking about this, 11 days after the shooting. So, if we're going to do real science, then we have to follow the real scientific method. And, I'll start right off the top. I think your test is a test of nothing. And the reason I think that is because right off the top, you chose a test medium that bears no relation to a human body whatsoever. And we unequivocally proved that yesterday. So we're supposed to believe that Charlie Kirk was shot with something that will not cause an exit wound in a human neck. And your theory is that a pork roast is an analog to a human neck. And your theory is that if the bullet can pierce a pork roast, then it must not have been the bullet that hit Charlie Kirk. And so I would ask you, since you're the math and science guy, show me your calculations that you did to show that a pork roast is the equivalent to a human neck. Let's just start there.
Well, so my background as well, just to be very clear, I took a lot of physics, a lot of anatomy, all that. My PhD is in pathology. I've conducted autopsies, and so it's very scientifically based kind of a background. And in medical science, pig, is actually the closest analog to human flesh. Density, in terms of its fascia muscle layout, in terms of all kinds of things. There's a reason that they use pork as a test subject, and the reason you dissect pigs. There's a whole reason for all of that. It's very close. You can't say it's not remotely the same. I mean, what else would you use, right? You have to, in science, you have to come up with some sort of a test environment that's okay. And look, I trust math. I trust engineers, right? It's the reason you're flying in a plane and you look out and it's turbulence. You see the wings going up and down like 5-6 feet. Thankfully, there are people out there who understand Newtonian physics, calculated it, and the stress loads that those wings are capable of handling. The safety factor is multiples above that. And the reason I bring this up is it's not like it's even close, Justin, that the human neck was going to be just torn apart by this round taken from that location. Okay. It's that the physics is so extraordinary. So,
what's extraordinary
what's extraordinary about it is this. But let's capture some territory, because I think it's important to make sure that we're really clear on this. Let me pull up a couple of things here, Clint, just in case, and see if people can see this. Okay. So we have some stuff that came out. Colvette said Man of Steel and the high velocity powered round somehow got stopped in his neck. So can we agree that this is the spot on top of the Losi building that they say the shot was taken from? And they have some evidence tags here. They say that's where the shot was taken from. So we have that. Okay. Captured territory 1. This is what we're talking about. A 30-06 round fired from that spot down towards that tent you see in the background, pierced Charlie's neck. And we can calculate this is about a 10-degree angle roughly. So just a slightly less, but call it 10 just to keep it easy. We know that Charlie was under this tent. He was right under the peak of that roof. The tent was.
Okay, he's going to keep walking through some of this, but I'm going to skip forward here to Justin's rebuttal to this. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of work here. There's a lot of math, and math can clog or fog the brain if you just like, oh, he did math. This is pretty good shit, okay? And it's a good assumption, right? It's about maybe the best here. So let's see what Justin says.
The more you rotate this to the left, the more you're going to miss the spine. From a downward angle, it was also just under a 10-degree angle downward. It would have missed bones this way too.
Chris, could you pause for a second? Because I want to let Justin at least address what you've said so far and see if there's anything he disagrees with as of now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know exactly what angle Charlie was sitting. He was moving around in a chair. He was sitting forward a little bit at the time. We're talking about a few degrees in either direction, and you don't have an autopsy report. So you don't actually even know what it hit. Your theory is based on third-party hearsay from Andrew Colvette and other people who were talking to a surgeon right after their best friend and business partner had been brutally murdered in front of the world. So you're expecting two people having a very rough conversation to remember exactly what a surgeon said, and you're expecting a surgeon to, in layman's terms, tell two people who just watched their friend get brutally murdered exactly what was hit and what was not hit.
And I would agree to some extent. I mean, look, we got, let's go back here on this one. We don't know all the details, and this is the stuff that's going to have to come out. And part of the problem with some of these people, and I see that with, was it tactical, practical, some of the tactical guy out there, ripping on Candace. Perfectly fine. By the way, I saw her show. There he goes, another by the way. And I've said this from day one. She gets nuggets. People send her stuff, and there's definitely some stuff to glean and to listen to. And then there's some stuff you're just like, I don't know what's going on. They don't pick on the stuff that I go, what's going on? They pick on the stupid stuff, right? I talked about this before, about she's lying about vehicle. It was, okay, there you go. Because what you're going to have to see is the metadata that shows that those are actually text messages from Tyler Robinson. Who cares? Okay. That's not how kids talk. I don't know. At this point, it's up in the air. But people like him, he's like, but we've seen the court documents show it. No, you've seen someone typing out into an affidavit of what they supposedly saw. And it doesn't say that they saw this text messages. It's just like, here's a string of text. Anyway, it gets weird. It gets complicated, but it's not complicated. Okay. Let's keep going here because there's this other part. There we go, 2759. We'll start from right from here.
Is so large, right?
You don't even know what projectile hit him. You don't know if it was a soft.
That's why we ran our tests with everything from 125 grain reduced recoil rounds up to 220 grain rounds. We tried every possible 30-06 round that's commercially available.
Through a pork shoulder. Do you know that we fired a 22 long rifle through a pork shoulder? So your theory is that anything that can fully penetrate a pork shoulder would have fully penetrated Charlie's neck. So then I ask you, what hit him? Because if I can penetrate a pork shoulder with a 22 long rifle or a 380 auto, which we did, and have it embed 4 inches into the ballistics gel that we placed behind it, then by that measure, there isn't a single round on earth that could have hit Charlie Kirk and not penetrated his neck, because 22 long rifle has something like 200 foot-pounds of energy compared to 3,000 in a rifle round. So if it only takes 200 foot-pounds,
how far away did you fire that round? How many yards?
It doesn't matter, because what we're talking about is energy delivered on target. So at muzzle velocity of 22 long rifle is about, what, 1,000 feet per second? So do the math and tell me how much energy is delivered at a target even 21 feet away. We're talking about energy delivered on target. And the problem is you don't even know, the caliber, maybe, because, the rifle that he supposedly used is not natively chambered in 30-06. Usually it gets rechambered into some sort of a Wildcat cartridge, some of which use 30-06 as a parent case.
Now, how does he know that? This is my problem. So you can't come in here because it started out at the beginning where he claims we can't be doing this because we just don't know enough info. And then you're throwing out that. Well, okay, you don't just get to disqualify someone because you now come up with a theory that it's been rechambered into something else. I don't know where we have any of this. Look, people, this is, I think it's perfectly fine to have these assumptions to go. This is why I like Chris Martenson on this, because it's not wild conjecture. He's got specific, and he said it over and over in this thing, he's got specific information that he believes if it was fired at this angle, where we supposedly say it is, it's going to be tough to not go through. Okay, perfectly fine. Let's get to another spot here. This is, he has an example here of a bullet not going through a body. And I thought this was also somewhat interesting.
Let Chris have the stage because he's got the, displays and stuff. So go for it, Chris.
All right. Well, Justin, almost everything you just mentioned is like that guy who got shot, he was wearing body armor, right? Probably. Almost certainly given his, really? He was a special operator out?
And I will say this. Oh, no, this is just Keith.
Out in the field in a hot zone without body armor?
Did you talk to him? Did you look at the pictures?
That's what you're claiming?
That's what he's claiming, I believe. Yes.
Not what I heard. So here's the subject at hand. Okay, so you say that the neck has the strongest muscles out there, but the problem is the bullet enters here. There's a very thin wall of muscle. It goes through. We've got the.
His claim is that the bullet didn't go through the. Justin claim is the bullet didn't go through the neck because it's the strongest. It's one of the strongest muscles in the body. It's got to hold your neck up. Okay, but the bones or the muscle isn't going to deflect. I'm sorry. And this, Chris actually says this at one point too, is like, we're talking about deflection. You've got to have he says 10,000 foot-pounds to deflect off axis, right? And we couldn't get any to do that. You're going to have something deflect this. And to deflect it, you are going to, back to Justin, talking about, people have given instances, and this guy supposedly said, I was a military guy, I got shot, and it didn't go through, didn't have an exit wound. Okay, well, I mean, is it hit in the femur? Is it hit in your chest? Is it hit in this part in the neck here? Where, yes, there's muscles, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about bone. You can see it on the diagram here, right? If it goes through here, it's going to just slide probably through. But if it's coming out this other direction, going more towards the center, okay, possibly. And Chris says totally doable there. Let's keep going here.
Big old jugular, and we've got the carotid here, and it's going to be going like this. If it comes, even if I'm off 5 degrees, we're going to end up here instead of here. It's not a big deal, right? You can see that right here. That's 5 degrees gets you there. 5 degrees off the other way gets you there. The problem is we have to take this black line and bend this all the way over to the solid part of the spine. Okay. So that's problem one. And so when we get there, I had to calculate this all for us. And here's the calculations. If we said, and again, I don't know the bullet, I don't know the round, but let's just take a mid-load thing. And we say it's a 150 grain bullet traveling at 2,400 feet per second at impact, which is about right. If we have just a standard, federal, 30-06 hunting round. The question is how much force would be required to deflect it 1 inch off of its path over a travel distance of 3 inches. And this is being generous. It's actually probably closer to 1.5 inches. It's probably only 2 inches, but let me be generous and soften this up a bit. So you run through the calculations. It turns out 10,230 pounds of force is required to take this thing that's going this way and make it bend in all of a sudden.
Okay, so you've got to have something to deflect it, and then we know that. And so what he talks about, this is, and I post, so this is what I posted up. I'm going to play this clip. I started it at the open. I'm going to play this clip for us. This is one I took here, which until he, and by the, almost said it, Justin's response to this is actually fascinating because he responded to me. Let's see if I could find it here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to play this clip, and then we're going to play his reaction to it.
And I'm not saying he wasn't shot with a 30-06. All I'm telling you is that you say 30-40%. My odds are shot here from that spot. That's going to be a 0.001% chance of that bullet.
How did you calculate
anything other than blowing straight on through?
How did you calculate that figure?
I just made it up in my head, but it's a very tiny number.
I know.
Yeah,
and where did your 30% come from?
Which is my entire
place, buddy. So that's the thing. I don't like the double standards. You have to hold me to standards that you won't hold yourself to. That's just, it's crazy. And worse, you get emotional and you call.
Yeah, he does get emotional, which is oddly weird. So this is Justin's response to this. So, because I said, Justin of Phoenix Ammunition, quoting him kind of here, he says, I say 20 to 30% of the time, a bullet doesn't exit the body. That's what he kept saying over and over. He never gave any clarifications. I was always like, in my mind, where are you getting these numbers? Because you were always, Justin was always trying to be specific about like, well, what tests? Well, we're doing tests here. It is, as he said, the scientific process. Chris Martinson, only a 0.001 chance that bullet goes through the neck. Ammo guy. You made up statistics. But where's the ammo guy getting his 20 to 30%? So he's like, right. So we're all just making up numbers. That was kind of my point. Was it though? I didn't get that from any time. He quoted that early. This was taken near the end of the video, that clip. Near the front, he kept saying 20 to 30%. He kept saying it. And I guess because no one was calling him out, that was the deal. Or is he just saying, I'm just guessing? Because at some point it was 30 to 40 and then it was 20 to 30. He goes, my answer is based on the hundreds of, I was making it up. But my answer is based on the hundreds of photos of live animals. Animal is not a human, although a pig is about as close. If you have hide, it's probably going to be a little different. Bone density, all these things make a difference. Photos of live animals shot with large caliber rifles of all kinds with no exit wound. It's a complete guess, but so is Chris's. His is a guess, but I mean, is he staking his analysis on that? Actually, his 0.001 is based on his analysis, which makes sense. I mean, how many of these deer and other things were shot, right in the side of the neck? I don't know. The difference is that his orders of magnitude lower, thus making it seem like it's an impossibility. It's word games. The hallmark of conspiracy theorists trying to confuse people into believing they're correct. I don't know. And this is, like I said, over and over. This is what I like about Chris, which is a lot of data, a lot of stuff goes into it, and he'll discard as new data comes in. I didn't feel that Justin really got anything useful out of some of those arguments. Let me see if I could find his last thing here.
Because you know that, in fact, it was intelligence agencies that took him out and you're scared for your life. There's a lot of justified.
I want to get to the end here where he ends up talking about Ian Carroll. Let's see if it's this one.
We're digging. Anyways, sorry for
all I'll say as a final thing is I agree with that entirely. I just don't feel the need to automatically assume that Israel was responsible for this.
I agree.
Because of all the things. They have been responsible for plenty of other things. I just don't want to be that guy who is trying to make Israel responsible for every possible thing that happens. They're responsible for a ton of shit that I don't like. And I think we need to distance ourselves from that country in every way, in terms of public policy and in terms of our economics and all those things. But I just don't want that to be the thing where if you don't think that Israel did it, then you're a Fed and you believe the Fed narrative.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying.
No, of course. And I mean, that has been the one disagreement between Ian and I over the past 3 months is that I do think that we need to be very cautious about basically, like, it's very easy to disprove the official narrative, but it's much harder to come up with the suspect, right? And I think it's a mistake. If you don't know who the suspect is, be very cautious about saying, hinting in that direction. Candace has done the same thing. She's basically been, scattershot, challenging a lot of people in the TPUSA world. And I think some of that has been unfair, but also it has forced their hand to present additional evidence. So I kind of understand the motivation for why she's doing those things. Anyway, setting that all aside, I really appreciate the conversation. I think that it was valuable. I think that it was broadly speaking, please do drop thank you, just plug. So if you guys have anything else.
Okay, so I didn't get the part about Ian, but you got the closing there from Justin, which I appreciate actually. Eric, well, that's too tiny. Let's put it on the full chat here. That's on the level of saying correlation isn't causation to someone who is at the level that would consider that a given. I'm guessing Physics Man considered a gambit of scenario. He not only did he watch this, it's actually pretty fascinating. Okay. And I say watch it because you get a pushback. And if you just watch Chris Martin's own stuff, no one's pushing back. So this is actually very good. He said he fired almost every kind of round possible from these locations. So, what are you going to do? Give it a shot. Based on composure, I like the beard man so far, a white beard. Yeah. I have no problems with Justin, by the way. There's another one. I'm going to get wasted here. We're going out to pizza tonight, so that'll be fun. I have no problems with Justin. Matter of fact, I'm going to look into Phoenix Ammunition, see if I could get some. I think not a problem to support what he's doing out there. I think he's a good guy. It's interesting the squeeze, and you get this on both sides of digging into your position that you laugh at you if you believe that anything that it's Tyler Robinson stuff. I think there's good skepticism, and I'm going to go into that because the Brown shooter got caught. And it's fascinating. We played a clip of that yesterday, which Jack Posobiec is like, it's all about this Erica, some chick in there that, it's ideology. I believe the Brown shooter did the school shooting to distract so he can go kill the MIT professor who he went to high school with. That is the likely probability. Okay. It wasn't some sort of ideology-based thing. It was simply a distraction. That's just my theory. It's all I have to go on right now. It's Keystone Cops out there in Rhode Island, so who knows what's really going on. Okay, so I like both of those guys. But then we had this Owen Schroyer, and this nap time, Green Beret guy, was evidently kept saying he wanted to come in a show, and Owen's like, I've sent him the stuff. He's doing his own show right now. He's not even paying attention. So we're going to play some of this debate. It's actually 32 minutes, and it should have stopped earlier, and Owen actually keeps it going. But it is, I'm showing you these to some extent to tell you how to not do debates. Justin of Phoenix Ammunition may be completely correct, but if you're going to talk about fake numbers and just making up stuff, you should probably do it up front, okay? And not do it in a tweet, but do it in the debate and actually know all the little points you're going to talk about. If you're going to bag and dump on, Ian Carroll as an example, make sure you get it right. That's all I'm saying. Come into and maybe get Wi-Fi. That's the other thing. So this one is crazy, and this is definitely not how to do a debate. Okay, but let's check this one out right away.
I'm interrupting my show now to bring you on because we had an agreement today, and you called me scared while the.
By the way, there's another by the way. Not a fan. I say that a lot too. My wife's like, I'm going to start making a list of things you're not a fan of. And I'm like, I'm not a fan of that. However, not a big fan of what Owen's wearing there. I don't know if it's a turtleneck thing, but I'm also not a fan of this backward hat. We've talked about this a little bit yesterday, which is you're ex-military. Now you're going to be doing YouTube stuff. And you're the only expert that could be in the room, okay? Because you're military. And by the way, God damn it, if you knock me for if you push back on any of my military service, fuck you, you're not a patriot. That's where we're at with these. It's TPU, it's Erica Kirk using TPUSA as a shield. It's Lance Armstrong using his Cancer Foundation as a shield. It's all the same. Look, so you went overseas and served. Great. What does that really mean? I don't know. Does it mean much for my personal life? No. Do I, back in the day, you might say, thank you for your service. You're defending my freedoms. What are you defending? What freedoms are you defending here that you have to go and serve overseas? Huh? I don't know. Am I really worried about Turk coming over here? I don't know. Let's start this. Let's go.
Sitting in your inbox. So here you are. So you have an
issue. You sent that invite 5:06 p.m. All right.
What are you talking about?
Archer.
I sent you a message. It doesn't matter. You're in here now. So what are your issues with me? You come after me on X. So what are your issues with me?
My issues with you are that you push lie. You have a massive following, and you consistently push lie.
I'm going to stop. I'm going to do this. You have a massive following. Is it that he has a massive following that he doesn't like, or is it that I think
it's against Israel?
Name one.
That aren't true. Now, if we want to have it,
no, name one lie.
This is an American beret. This is a Green Beret who's concerned about what you say about Israel.
Go ahead. I'll be waiting. It's amazing. You'd think you'd have that knowledge to make such a claim. You'd think you'd have that knowledge readily available, but you're stuttering now. So go ahead. You're wasting all of our time now. Go ahead.
I'm not stuttering. You're interrupting. So the claim that you made that, do you agree with what the IDF did in Gaza? Assuming so you're saying that there was a genocide in Gaza. Is that what you're pushing right now? Is that your thought process?
Who said that? Who said that? Did I say that?
You're implying it. Were you not?
I'm implying it. So I didn't say it though.
This is the exact problem with people like you. I was implying it, but I didn't say it.
I'm trying to do debate stuff here. Okay. Almost said it, but it didn't count because I didn't say it. Went to court Monday, did well. We really got some progress from my client. It's not so much about me being able to make, because this is one judge I'm having trouble with, and it seems that we got through. I don't think I, made exceptional arguments. In this instance, my client is awesome. He's done all the right things, but I told him a year ago, this happened. He's a man. There you go. Yes, I should have given it away. California, sometimes, you get divorced, you get separated, and your child's somewhat young with mom. They just assume, she'll be at mom's like, she'll be with me all the time. You're going to get custody. You just got to do, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, as I predict, as I tell you, and within a year, you're going to get 50-50 custody. Boom, it happened. 50-50 starts out. It's been just barely over a year. Great work on him, but you have to make a little bit of arguments. And I'm always trying to work in with this judge, try to figure out how to do it. I went in hot the first time, last October or November. It didn't work out so well. We've gotten better and better, and so I'm always trying to do this. You have to know how to go in and argue. This guy. Let's back it up a few seconds here. You lie all the time. Well, what am I lying about? Well, you implied it. I mean, you can't do that. You can't call someone out, and then when you show up, you have nothing. This is female behavior. This is you always X, Y, and Z, and it's like, okay, bitch, what are you talking about? She doesn't have it.
This is the exact problem with people like you.
And then complain like a woman.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say I implied it, and I didn't say it. You said it. You literally said that. So you've said two things about me that aren't true. Oh, okay. So let's get some facts straight. How many people has Israel killed in Palestine?
Total combatants? 30,000? 6,000 to 7,000?
I mean, I've talked about this before, about the combatant issue. It's not a sovereign state.
And civilians?
So you can't. So again, the question was
1.5 to 1 ratio.
The question was, how many people has Israel killed in the Gaza Strip in Palestine? How many people?
I can't give you an exact answer on that because one, there's a war. There was a war going on.
Do you trust President Trump? Do you trust President Trump?
Are you on the talk?
You don't talk. You don't know anything. You come to a debate with no information. The number is 70,000. The number is 70,000. That's the official number that the Trump administration has confirmed is 70,000. 30,000 are women and children. Do you support that?
30,000 was not women and children. That was never pushed by the Trump administration. That was pushed by the Gaza Health Ministry, which is
Trump never said 70,000. Trump never said that. Is your claim right?
Let's fact check them in real time. How many people have been killed in Gaza war according to Trump administration? Yeah, I use Brave. Okay, let's has not provided official. Trump claimed that 25 members of Hamas's brigade. There are remarks. So I don't know where he's getting that. Either one of them, but I can't confirm. Oops, there you go.
Right here.
I don't know what Trump said. I'm not talking about anything.
So again,
I'm talking about the number.
So again, you have no information for this debate. Okay.
It's Hamas.
Oh, okay. So let's say that 30,000 women and children were killed. Would you be okay with that?
I mean, obviously, the goal is never to kill women and children. But when you're prosecuting a war against a terrorist organization in an urban environment, especially in one in such a small area as Gaza, there's going to be casualties that happen. And Hamas
this is amazing.
planned it that way. Hamas hides behind civilian populations, and Hamas keeps them from leaving from targeted buildings, even after roof knockers, even after they've been told that there's going to be a strike coming. So,
and I'm sure that happens with Hamas, right? But once again, I'm going to always revert back to the actual situation on the ground. This guy's talking about a football game, and the situation is cricket. It's not even, it's maybe it's chess. I don't know. It's completely different game than what we were talking about, because the situation on the ground is not two warring factions, sovereign nations. It's an occupied. We've walked over the legality situation of this, okay, according to the Geneva Convention and whatnot, the Fourth Geneva Convention. This is not a sovereign nation. It's an occupied territory. Therefore, there are different things that in play. Okay, just it is. And where does the IDF set up? They set up in the rural neighborhoods too. Okay, so I mean, it's the same exact thing.
You're being disingenuous about this.
Not a fan of Hamas or the IDF.
Whole thing, and then you're coming off all super strong. Like if we were sitting in a room together right now, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be acting as tough as you are. But I'll allow that to happen because it's a little bit ridiculous that you're going to sit here and say
that's the dumbest thing. And I get it. It's like, but would you be acting this way too? Okay. And if you are, you're just a complete idiot. If this guy is going to come with this behavior into Owen's house, Owen is, and I'm sorry, I'm more biased on this debate than the last one. This nap time guy is just a piece of shit.
You hint at there was a genocide and start throwing out numbers. You want to throw out numbers? How many people did we kill in Tokyo firebombing alone in 48 hours?
So now you're talking about something completely different. So this is the woke.
I'm talking about war.
First you have to defend war. So
okay, I like how Owen uses woke against these people because that's their whole thing. So he just goes directly at him and calls him woke.
Oh, right. First they have to defend death, and then when they can't win the debate, they have to talk about something else. They have to deflect and talk about something else. So So what are you talking about now? So far you have zero lies that I've told. So you come first, you say I'm scared while the debate is sitting in your inbox. Then you come on here and say I'm lying, but you still haven't said one lie.
Let's find one lie.
One lie.
You literally sent it 4 minutes ago. I have a timestamp on it. Why are you lying?
Dude, I literally posted the screenshot. You understand that I posted the screenshot? Tell me one thing I've lied about.
You lie all the time. You vilify Jews in Israel all of the time, dude. I see it. I don't
tell me one lie.
I listen to all of your stuff, but I see what you do. You're a propagandist.
You know what happened? This guy, I heard a baby in the background. So his girl, I don't know that he's married. Let's see if we can see his finger.
And you're
okay. He's got a wedding ring on. So, and it's kind of the gay black one there. But so let's assume. Let's just back up and take it out of context and assume that he's married to a woman, and that woman gave him a baby. Okay. This is how she argues with him all the time. You're not doing the dishes. You're not doing this. You're online all the time. You're always doing games. You're doing streams. You're doing streams with your friends. You're playing Call of Duty. I don't know what he's doing. Okay. All this stuff here. And she's whining at him. And he's like, bitch, what? Come on. What am I doing? What? You never. And now he's channeling his screaming woman at Owen Schroyer. He's projecting Owen because he is Owen's bitch. That's what just happened here.
You're a liar, and you know you are. And you know you are.
And here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do.
No, you're gonna let me talk. You're gonna let me talk. You talk for a living on this show. You're gonna let me talk.
And that's such female behavior too, which is like, you know what? I'm gonna empower myself now. I'm gonna say what I want to say. You know, Letitia, my friend, she always tells me he just talks over you. You know what you need to do? You need to go in there and you need to project yourself. You need to be a strong woman. You do that. You tell him, no, I'm talking now. Let's watch that again.
Here's what I'm gonna do. No. You're gonna let me talk. You're gonna let me talk. You talk for a living on this show. You're gonna let me talk. All right. You're not playing this bully game where you get to do whatever you want.
Bully.
You're gonna sit here and you're gonna ask me for a debate, a good-natured debate.
I'm asking you for one thing I've lied about.
You let me talk.
Tell me one thing I've lied about. One.
Are you gonna let me talk?
I will shut up.
You
Just
say
tell
you
me
want to have
one
a
thing.
debate.
Just tell me one
and
thing.
I lay out. You ask me these questions, and I lay out and destroy every single one of your questions, and then you give a 3-sentence response about that everything I said was just propaganda. Did you actually even read the article? Did you look at anything that I have actually worked on? Did you?
Wait. This guy wrote an article?
Read the post that I did?
What are we at here? 9:21. I'm going to be out in 9 minutes. Go watch this. This is 32 minutes. I implore you, go to Orange Schroyer, watch it. It gets no better. It's the same thing. This guy it's embarrassing. And let's go to this real quick. Man, do I want to play this whole thing? Sean Ryan, let's start this.
All of you who've supported this show and made it what it is today. On December 9th, 2025, I received a legal
This is way too produced to just talk about a cease and desist.
demand letter from lawyers representing Congressman Dan Crenshaw. They are threatening to sue me for defamation because of comments I made on my podcast about a message that he sent me. They want me to remove content, issue a public apology, and stop talking about him. I'm not going to do any of that. Let me give you full context so you can judge for yourself. What I originally said a while back, I commented on my show about Congressman Crenshaw throwing an extremely expensive party and the fact that he seems to have become quite wealthy during his time in Congress. I raised questions about how a congressman making $174,000 a year can afford that kind of a lifestyle. These are legitimate questions. And to be honest, I didn't even mention Dan Crenshaw's name in that initial conversation. I just brought up the fact that he was having Steve Aoki, a major DJ, spin at his party.
And then, let's fast forward a couple years and they got Steve Aoki DJing their 40th birthday party. How does that happen?
I don't have firsthand experience in this. I have often questioned the same thing.
These are legitimate questions. Multiple news outlets have reported on concerns about congressional insider trading and members of Congress, including Congressman Crenshaw, actively trading stocks while having access to non-public information that affects those very stocks.
Okay, this is quite the accusation, but here we are, and then this some damn Crenshaw response.
Said exactly this. I said, "Hey Sean, you have the ability to contact your fellow team guy if you've got a problem with me or have questions about how I'm quote unquote getting rich. Some of my boys at 6 told me about your indirect swipe at me. From the comment you made, it seems like you have some beliefs that are based on trendy narratives instead of facts." Okay, so that's the only thing I ever sent him. He never responded, never asked any more questions. Don't think he was very interested in the truth. And a year later, like very recently, goes back on his podcast, makes the same kind of statements about hiring Steve Aoki and all this nonsense. But of course does name me this time. So now he's kind of forced me to act. But he goes a lot further. And this is where it gets interesting. And this is why he got a letter from my lawyers. Because he says that message that I just read to you, was actually a threat to assault him with my boys at SEAL Team 6. Now, I just read it to you. It doesn't say anything like that. It's not remotely threatening. It's not even an aggressive message. No reasonable person could possibly interpret it that way. You're publicly accusing me of a crime of conspiring to get a bunch of SEALs together and go commit assault. It's really
not true. Well, the threat is not criminal. Okay, the action, if you were to do it, it is criminal. Okay, so. But we've seen here where Dan Crenshaw wants to criminalize speech. He also wants to criminalize thoughts because he wants red flag laws for guns. So I don't know. We're done with this. These two guys back and forth. We'll see what happens. Here's the text. Here's the more on the cease and desist. It's really, why are you doing this? Okay, let's get to a 2-minute clip here of Nick Fuentes talking about something. I'm sure it's really gay. Take it away, Nick.
Less relationship talk. No one is watching your show for advice on relationships and women. Last night you said about husbands who fantasize about taking your kids places.
More money.
You want? Believe it or not, having a family means you will have to interact with your children. Get outside more.
Oh, the seethe is more money, less seethe. Just give me the money, dipshit. Don't seethe. You don't need to seethe about the show. You know what? We don't need to hear that. What? We're gay because we play with our kids? Sentimentality. Yeah, fuck all of you. Sentimentality is gay. Sentimentality is not a masculine virtue. You cannot do this trad masculine LARP and then be a sentimentalist. and say, honey, I'm praying for our kids. I just want, like, fantasizing about this domestic life. No, you're a girl. No, a real man wants to be on a ship in the ocean shooting cannons at the French. A real man wants to be in the jungles of Africa killing the natives, building a railroad. The real man wants to sleep on the floor of his factory as he builds an empire of iron and steel. A real man wants to run this country with an iron fist, sign execution warrants, with no time for any of that rom-com stuff, with no time for my kid's recital. That's what it is to be a real boss, a real man. So, yeah, I'm sorry that bothers you. I'm sorry that you're like a low-test girl. I'm sorry you're in a lesbian relationship with your wife and you want to sit around and braid each other's hair until you get your period at the same time, talking about our kids or whatever. But there are some real niggas left that we just want to drive around the city looking around. You know, some of us still have that in us. And, we haven't lost all our testosterone because a girl cried or something, and now we say, honey, she's beautiful. It's like, no, I'm a cannibal. This is a cannibal holocaust. I'm kidding. Jokes, of course. But hey, listen, just next time, hold the seethe, just the money. Try this one on for size. No message.
Okay, so I was looking, in the meantime, I was actually trying to look for because it would be great then to go right to where he lives. This guy lives in Chicago. He lives in a little brownstone. None of this stuff he's describing is anything that he's doing. Jim says, Sean Ryan Magoo, that is, twice the number of eyes as Dan. He's right and less gay. True, but you're wrong about, unfortunately, the only career, okay, not that one. You said here, oh, there you go. Owen's hair and turtleneck. He's gay and he's wrong. He's not wrong at all. You watch that interview, not wrong. I did submarines because it was close to being a pirate that I could hope to achieve. My cannon was a Trident II D5 missile, though. Interesting advice from a gay man. Yes. Last thing we're going to do, and then we're going to head out of there. I don't even know what's going on with this one. This guy, I've watched some of his stuff. He's got this phone in the background. I thought it was novelty size. Now when he's sitting next to a normal woman, I don't even think she's like over 5'5" probably. He's a fucking midget. This blows me away. I don't know what's going on. That beard, that mustache is probably it's like a Hitler stash to most men, but to him, it's like one of these giant things. Let's see what these two losers have to, and I called him a loser. I haven't even watched this yet, but everyone else has said he's a loser. So
the young white man, you are truly alone. All the young white guys need to team up because it is us against the world. Everyone hates us. You guys need to wake up to that fact. We need to become racist and we need to take charge.
And by the way, don't buy into this propaganda that, oh, white girls are just whores. Let's go to fucking Colombia and get a cheap hooker.
Yeah.
This passport bro bullshit, that's Jewish as fuck. That's a Jewish psyop to make you have mongrel babies.
If you're non-white, if I was non-white and I wasn't in this battle like I am, if I was a black dude, I would be a passport bro. Yeah. For non-whites, I get it. Because you can go to a third world country and get a much hotter girl. You just can't, as an American with like more money, you can pull something way better in a third world country. But she's gonna be brown. But if you're a black dude or if you're a brown dude, that's fine. If I was non-white, I think I would be a passport bro. But if you're white, we're gonna have to wife up these hoes. You're gonna have to suck it up and wife up one of these American white girls, and but it'll be okay.
Your race matters that much. Like your race, in 10 generations, your line will have continued, and nobody will care that your great-great-grandmother was a hoe because you exist and you're more white people. The white race must be preserved at all causes. And by the way, girls become hoes when they don't have a guy putting them in line. So if like most girls will take on the mindset of the guy that they're dating. So if you're conservative, I'm not saying go out and get some radical, insane liberal, like that's beyond the pale, but most girls will kind of meld into who you are, and if you just put them in their place, it'll be fine. And you got to do it for the race.
You got it. We're gonna have.
Race.
Well, and again, and circling back, this is why I disagree with these pastors telling all these young men to wait till they're married, because none of the girls are virgins. Being a virgin man marrying a non-virgin woman is a terrible idea. You have no idea what you're getting. She's going to be able to just totally control you. You have no idea what you're getting into. So I do not, in America in 2025, I do not recommend waiting till marriage. As a man, if you're a woman, try and stay pure. But as a man, you know, none of the girls in this country are virgins. You're not going to find a virgin wife. So if she's going to be ran through, you need to be ran through as well. Ran through. Men aren't run through. Men do the running through. But yeah.
He's been ran through. That's why he said that.
Go rack up a body count and then get yourself one of these ran through white women. I'm sorry, we have no choice. This is the situation. And then hopefully our children can grow up in a country that's not totally fucked up.
Yeah, that's crazy advice. I'd say take none of that to heart. You know, the Bible talks about like being unequally yoked, okay? And my interpretation of that is not Nick's, where it's like, oh, don't date outside your race. I get that. But I will say, you know, as someone who's gone to college and dated girls of different, you know, ethnicities, but we're in my religion, right? I think that's the primary thing you look for. Religion and a lot of political things to go and coordinate with there. My wife's Italian. You know, back in the day, that would have been, oh, she's not white. Okay, she's funny. She's everything I've wanted. She's politically exactly like me. Spiritually exactly like me. We're not going to be broken apart. And what have we done? We've taken 4 kids and we've made them little versions of us. It's fantastic. So, you know, you can date outside of your native or your race, I would imagine. The most important thing, though, is are you spiritually aligned and are you politically aligned to how you want to raise your kids? That's really what it is. I don't care what color she looks like, assuming that she takes into these same sort of kind of concepts that you do. That's really my mind. I mean, there's a little bit of skin tone that makes a difference. Someone up here earlier said Barry. Barry's a great TV show, right? That's we're not going to argue with that. It's insane that I never have to hear anything from anyone that's 5'2". Yeah, you shouldn't have to. He's 5'2" at best. She's not wrong on that point. I don't know what the point was because she's, of course, wrong. We need to get our legislature to pass hey warning for the internet. This information should back in the day, right? Okay. Yeah, welcome, JC. Finally getting here. I'm going to take off. It's 4:33 in my time. It's 8:33 or no, what is it? 7:33 over in the East Coast. You do the math for your time zone. Like, subscribe, everything you should to this show. We got to get to, there we go. TylerYonke.substack.com. If you had subbed up here, you would have got a notice at least 30 minutes before telling you that the show was on today, okay? And you would have got that. So go there. It's free if you want. We are going to do some more stuff. We're going to do, yeah, you can pay there too. But we're going to do some more members only stuff. So go there, sign up. As always, love you guys. Have a good weekend. I'll be back on Monday. Christmas week coming up. I will probably do a few shows. It's probably going to be like this week where I'm like working from home more. So anyway, take care, everybody. Enjoy. I'm going out to have his Substack or you're gay. Absolutely. See you out.
Okay, I'm leaving now.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any like knowledge of the real world,
none of us are screaming, "Let's kill Tyler."
Tyler says, "My
Jewish princess."
You low key, you're one of the funniest dudes like in the like Liberty world that I know.
More or less, eat shit and die. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in like rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. And I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Do you see what he just did to Tyler?
I feel like you don't get the appreciation for your humorous wit.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?